Welcome back, fan stands, to round 3 of the Super Open between Casualties Ramp and Bad Moon. Casualties played by Connor today. You're going to power out a fast Nissa, or you're going to grind out the game with Casualties and Tamio. Meanwhile, Bad Moon plays to the board quickly, and you pump them all up with a Bad Moon. Red adds some extra reach with Burn. Here's game 1. Now we've got Connor on the left side with the Casualties Ramp strategy. Meanwhile, Joe is starting us off with Bad Moon. We've got a Swamp Mox Ruby start into Dark Ritual, carving out 2 creatures and hitting right away with that Dreadhorde Butcher. Getting that out turn 1 is very strong because it'll just keep ramping up. But the Paradise Druid does pose a question. Are we gonna attack in? I think so. We're all about turning creatures sideways and not giving this ramp deck any amount of breathing room. Especially when the Paradise Druid represents mana that Connor needs to get to those expensive spells. But we've got an additional Mox to get Tamio out turn 3 with no rituals. But we'll bolt the land right away. So 6 power on that Nissa. 1 card in hand for Joe. Now let's see, we can get 5 damage across, unless we use a Dread Malkin to eat something. We could go, if we want to get rid of Nissa this turn, we could have one of the Dread Malkins eat the other and swing all at Nissa. That way we have a 3/3 Malkin and a 4/4 Dreadhorde Butcher. Another thing we could do is maybe have both of the cats attack Nissa, have the Butcher attack face, and then sacrifice the Butcher afterwards. It looks like that might be the play here. Yep. I kind of like having a 3/3 Malkin and a big butcher in play rather than this other way. You don't deal 3 damage to Connor, but instead of a 1/1 Malkin, you get the 4/4 Butcher that you get to keep, which in the long term might be better. And here we're going to Mind Twist the final card out of Joe's hand. Not playing the Jet, maybe to play around Casualties of War, but I don't know. The mana might be relevant later because Casualties is likely to target the Mox Ruby anyway. And yeah, here's the Casualties. Gonna blow 3 things up. Gonna sacrifice the Malkin to the Malkin. But yeah, here this means that if Joe draws any 2-drops, he won't be able to play them. Damage come across. We're gonna pay 4 life. Dismember the Paradise Druid. Don't want to get caught by another Casualties. It looks like Connor's gonna rip the other card out of the hand. Another Dismember. Yeah, hopefully that extra mana doesn't come to bite Joe. Got Connor at 3. Now, do we have another removal spell? We have Tamio here. We could Tamio and then, well, we can't grab Paradise Druid because the Dread Malkin has Menace. And yeah, I don't think there's any card from the graveyard right now that would save Connor in this place. So he's got to uptick for something. And here, looks like we're uptick. What did we name? If we name Time Walk, that's pretty good. And it looks like we did. We're going to cast Time Walk, and we're going to get at least 2 extra turns beyond this extra turn. Because we can grab Time Walk. Yep, play Time Walk. 4 mana for Factor Fiction. Oh no. This Teferi can bounce our lethal threat. We probably separate the piles such that it's Teferi against the world. Because that bird could represent an extra blocker later down the road. And the lands aren't very relevant at this stage in the game. Yep, that's what we do. This gemstone mine, also on its final leg, going to be able to cast the Teferi. We don't have to downtick to grab the gemstone mine and play Teferi that way. Oh, never mind. Looks like we had a Savannah. Oh, into Time Twister. Probably don't want to do that at this stage of the game, since we can lock things up with Tameo. Though we have so many more resources, the only way we get punished really is... oh no, we definitely don't want to Time Twister here because Joe has the possibility of getting Red Source and Bolt. But another extra turn, and we don't have anything right away. This could be bad. But we do find the Red Source, but no... Okay. Let's see. We have Liliana. 6 mana Lily. Probably going to Edict, get rid of the Malkin. Alright, what do we rip off the top? Oh, it's something we want to do. The Volt Scourge. Yeah, this can just get bounced by Teferi again. Ooh. And the Batterskull. The one of Batterskull is has the potential to stabilize this game. That lifelink being so relevant. Make a zombie. Play Batterskull. We have a way to bounce it back if we need to. Probably not. So even Angrath's Rampage isn't gonna do the job. And I think this is probably the end. Yep. Full attack mode. Let's see. Yeah, there's very little that Bad Moon can do once the Battleskull's on the board. Off to game 2. Alright, this time Joe will be on the play yet again. Looks like we have potential for a really quick start. We've got a Mock Stark Ritual hand and a land. Can get 4 mana out on turn 1. Here we go. Swamp Jet. Alright, just a Lazotep Reaver. And likely don't have a Bad Moon, or we probably would have played it this turn. Here we go, getting in for 2. Eternal Taskmaster, pass the turn. Must have just drawn that. Unless we really didn't. I guess Spell Pierce, or not Spell Pierce, could have really gotten cooked by a mental misstep. But for now, it'll just be Time Twister. Looking pretty good for Joe's side of the board. We've got a few more cards played out. And Joe gets to utilize their cards first. Unless there's some miraculous Moxen that Connor rips into. Let's see, right now there's only a 5-turn clock from Joe's side. Gonna need to add some more to really put the pressure on. So maybe this is why Connor feels okay to do such a slow play. We've got... Ooh. This demonic tutor could be huge. It's likely that Connor's sided in balance and could just wipe the board away. Joe gonna play Badlands, so now we've got red mana. Let's see. 2 black, we've got another Reaver. Essentially get some haste in through. Swinging in for 5. Dark Ritual. Black Knight. And Butcher. Butcher after the fact. Maybe a little excited, didn't see quite everything that was in hand. But this is going to be devastating for Joe. As, ooh, and Connor even gets to play out a Mox beforehand. Yeah, if this is triple Mox, then Joe will even have to sacrifice a land. The wheel putting Joe's hand size up a bit. Oh, but instead, we've got Nissa. And we're gonna... Oh. Okay, we animate the land. Guess we're looking to balance a little bit later. And we couldn't have tapped with the mine this way, as we then would have needed the mine for the white mana. But a passing of the turn to Joe with his huge board. Let's see. Dread Malkin is the draw. And I think if you're Joe, you're going to feel really safe just continuing to play out the board if there wasn't a wipe last turn with the draw 7. So likely just going to keep playing. Joe paying 2 life. And here we have Ruthless Invasion. Non-artifact creatures can't block this turn. So all this is going to get through. This lets the Taskmaster attack in, notably, such that it does that grows, and if the Taskmaster gets wrecked in response, everything's fine. But here we have Dismember. So no blocks, not meaning too much. And Connor goes down to 6. We grow up the Dread Horde just a little bit. I guess that's why Connor was opting to hold up the extra black mana with Bayou earlier, so they didn't have to pay extra life. And that extra life might matter here. As if they had gone down to 4, Dread Horde Butcher pings you down to 2, and then any bolt from Joe is lights out. So 2 mana. Going for Demonic Tutor. Ooh. Wait a minute. Does Masquerade Girl do it? Yeah, with the Malkin in play, you can chain Malkin into Reaver and clear the whole board. And then Dreadhorde Butcher doesn't even deal any damage. If Joe's card in hand is exactly Lightning Bolt or Dark Ritual, they can either get rid of or grow the Malkin. Let's see, is that what they have? It looks like they don't. And this is absolutely brutal. Joe just gonna need to rip good off the top from here. Because they would, Connor's currently representing a 2-turn clock. If Joe can bolt into bolt. Here's a Butcher, but we have to play defense. This is not what the Bad Moon strategy wants to do. And with Teferi in hand, we can just get rid of the blocker. Yep. And it's looking fairly dismal. Yep. And that's it. Connor takes it in round 3